Alright guys, just going to talk you through a game I had recently featuring Prime Butcher, that is Butcher number 1 as opposed to Butcher 2 or 3, and it's up against a correct opponent here with Terminus. The scenario, as you can see, is Incursion, and Cricks have taken the first turn, just running straight into the middle. Now this is a Terminus list that features some Soul Hunters and some Satixis Blood Witches. He's also got some Bile Thralls and Mechanothralls. So not your super typical Terminus list. He's also running Erebus back there. What you're seeing is him halfway through his first turn, so he's yet to move the remaining models at the back row before I finish taking the photograph. But yeah, just playing around with more of a fun Terminus list. I think that, you know, your really serious Terminus players are going to be running a lot of Bane Knights, and he hasn't got any in this list. So there you go. With me, I'm running a Butcher1 list which has the double Black Dragons and Nis Hunters with Felichev. Got the double Eliminators and Widowmakers as well. The battle group has a Devastator and a War Dog. Main idea with this list is, well, it's a dude spam list at the end of the day, but the Nis Hunters can really benefit from Iron Flesh, of course. But the thing about the Nis Hunters is they're equally good at shooting as they are at combat, arguably. So you can get the extra damage dice on both those rolls. But the thing is, they don't necessarily even need it. They can head out into the flank, because Zephyr is really useful for their threat range, or to pull them back after shooting a few guys in the front row so they don't get charged as often. Iron Fang Pikemen can benefit hugely from the Fury spell or the Butcher's Feet, but they become defense 16 with Iron Flesh, so that puts them above a threshold for people hitting them. So really, they can be almost as resilient against attack rolls as Winterguard and Kiasi Assassins are. I mean, realistically, if the other guy's needing a 9, that really puts you out of likelihood of being hit. I mean, if it's difference between hitting on 9s or hitting on 12s, obviously that seems like a big difference on paper, but in practical terms, you can lose an Iron Fang every so often and not really notice. It should be fine. On with the game though. Second picture shows you the situation. We've got the Nis on the flank over here against some Mechanothralls, but he's also got the Mechanothralls on the other side for the Widowmakers to deal with, and Soul Hunters going up through the middle. Soul Hunters, really underrated unit until more recently. People are running them a bit more. They are very effective in a lot of situations, and I just think they're a fantastic unit. They usually get their points worth out of the enemy. Next picture, you can see Terminus close up. Dave's paint job here is fantastic. I mean, you really love the metallic, corroded sort of look of the undead here, and a bit of lighting in the background for extra cinematic value. So skipping that one, my turn 2 just pushes everything up and takes some shots. Managed to pick off one of the Soul Hunters, I think, with... No, I didn't do that. I managed to pick off a few of the Mechanothralls with shooting, so not as significant. They will just come back from the Necrotech behind them. Warjack in the middle with Fury on it, and Iron Flesh has gone on this unit of Iron Fangs that are directly facing the Soul Hunters, so I wanted to make them more resilient to the Soul Hunters in general, as you can imagine. Next image shows you where the Eliminators and the Nis are, really just waiting to take control of that flag. Because I've got the second turn, I'll be able to score first, we'll have the first opportunity to do so, and the plan really is to, make this a left hook game. Make the left-hand flank for Kador the stronger one, and score quicker than he can. It's quite hard to out-attrition Terminus, and the thing is, you've got to always stay out of range of his bubble of assassinating you, because even a tough caster like Butcher will go down against Terminus with the Malediction and his good combat stats. Taking a look at the next picture, we've got an attack here with the Satixis. Not really achieving too much because Iron Flesh is really useful there, but the Devastator was sent in my follow-up turn after the Nis attack here. Sorry, the Crix attack. I actually squandered my feat. I used it a turn way too early. I actually used it in such a way that the Devastator would get boosted damage rolls when it used its Rain of Death attack. But it was a complete overplay. I just really lost it in that moment, sending the Devastator forward, hoping to pick up, 3 or 4 Bane Thralls. He was only in range of a couple of them. Obviously they've got tough due to Terminus, and realistically, if I'd sent the Devastator in without attacking, then it would have taken quite a lot of resources from Terminus to actually take it down. But with using Rain of Death, it's only going to take a few Bane Thralls, and he can use the other ones elsewhere. So it's a terrible, terrible play on my part. I really regret doing that. On the other hand, I did manage to actually contest the flag that he was going for with the Satixus Blood Hag, which you can see in the top left of the photo, so no worries about him scoring too early. Next picture, you can see the right hand flank here where I've managed to kill off most of the Mechanothralls. They will come back. The Soul Hunters, I've reduced the unit count to just 2. The follow-up attacks here from the Iron Fangs and with the Kovnik have managed to kill them. Note that some of them are benefiting from Butcher's feat, so that was one other reason why I feated. I still regret it though. I'd much rather have the feat in hand for that. On the other side of the battlefield in this next image, you can see that the Nist Hunters have done a much better job because they've actually wiped out the entire Mechanothrall unit on this side of the battlefield. I think it was a minimum unit, so it's much easier to remove 6 models than it is to get 10. And as you can see here, moving forward, the Nists are very accurate. Many of them are standing still due to Zephyr and still attacking, and the Eliminators moving in to score from the flag. So as predicted, this flag is quite easy for me to score from, and as you can see from the battlefield, it's going to be quite hard for him to send a lot of Crix units over to contest. I'm going to be able to kill everything in this sort of region of the battlefield each turn, and eventually he's going to run out of stuff that he can run into range. And if he moves Terminus over there, well, Terminus can't contest, but if we've got Butcher in a sort of a denial bubble, then Terminus won't really be able to move over as safely. Next image, you can actually see that the Devastator is being destroyed here. Does that quite easily with Terminus and picking up a couple of other pikemen in the process. He's used his feat. In fact, if you look at the next image, it's pretty much the same picture. It's just that he's moved Erebus in here as well. Now, I did say that I made a misplay, played the Devastator terribly, used Butcher's feat on the wrong turn. Dave actually responded by making some mistakes of his own. His activation order wasn't that hot. He managed to sort of get himself into a position where the Bile Thralls couldn't really move in correctly and get the angles they wanted to for their purges. So although he picked up a few kills with purges, he took out a few of his own guys and didn't really get all of the Bile Thralls into to where he needed them to be. Note that Butcher1 actually used an Obliterate the turn earlier, which missed the Blood Hag. I was intending to actually scatter and hit it, but it scattered back across there and killed a few of the Bile Thralls, so that was actually really useful. Next image, you can see sort of the result of this. The Devastator's been destroyed. There's the wreck. The Bane Thralls are there, but the Iron Fangs have managed to resist these Bane Thralls and are still contesting the flag at the end of the turn, so still no scoring for Crix. Bane Thralls against Iron Fang Pikemen needing 7s to hit. More than half the time you're missing, well actually slightly less than half the time you're missing, but it's quite hard for him to get every single attack to hit, and he had to kill about 5 guys plus a purge to do this, but he didn't manage to do it. So next image, you've got Darar Wraith moving around here, using Beyond Death, I believe, and Madeline on the hill. I think what happened following this is that he body blocked Madeline with a few of his units. Madeline's a real problem because she extends Terminus' threat range from something like 11 to 14, which is a real pain. As soon as you can reduce Terminus' threat range, you can get Butcher closer into the field and doing a little more work. So my plan here is really to take Madeline out with the Eliminators if I'm given the chance. Another photo along here, we've got the view from behind the Crix army. You can see here that quite a lot of models are corroded due to the Bile Thrall purge, which is done from this guy that you see in the sort of the bottom of the photo, the bottom region. But Cador line's still holding pretty strong. I've still got plenty of pikemen back there. There's no kill box, so Butcher is well away from Terminus, not within charge range. He's still got the dog back there. I did actually use all of Butcher's focus, so that's why I've had to run off like a coward, but later on I'll be able to move Butcher back in, especially if Madeline is dispensed with. Next image here, we've progressed a turn or two, and Butcher is moving further to the left-hand side of the battlefield. He's camping his focus now. Most of the Iron Fang pikemen are gone, but The Crick's side have really struggled to score from those flags quickly, whereas I've been managing to pick up a control point each turn from the left-hand side, and I think even in one case a third point during his turn when he wasn't able to move anything over to contest. So looking to pick up the scenario win just by virtue of this left-hand flag and perhaps the middle flag once I get closer to it. Next photo, you can see the remnants of the Khador line. I did take out Madeline, but all of the pikemen and the Widowmakers are dying to these recursive mechanothralls here. Well, not quite recursive, but they are consistently reanimated. 2 soul hunters left collecting souls as they do. Dara and Erebus are still up and starting to score from those flags, and this particular turn I actually managed to get a bit of bravado done here and take out the Mechanothral that was engaging the Widowmaker and sent one of the Widowmakers over to contest that flag, so slowing down the Crick's scoring efforts even further. Next image, you can see the image of the flag on the other side. He's got a single Warwitch Siren over here contesting. Warwitch Sirens are really annoying to kill. They've got boxes, their armor's fairly high and their defense is fairly high, so there was one turn where I actually fluffed my rolls to kill it and he's just come around for a spray. Still got plenty of guys though, so once I take that out it should be a lot easier, because as you can see the Bane Thralls are just too far away to come over and contest. Next image, here's the situation. I've actually managed to score off the middle zone, middle flag, and no, that's incorrect. The middle flag is not being scored from because there's not enough pikemen there to do so. On the left though, I've managed to pick up my my fourth control point, so I will score next turn and win unless he's able to completely contest that flag, but he's got a lot of units which are a fair bit closer. Moving to the next image, you can see what's happened here. They've got the Widowmaker within 4 of that flag. That's going to die immediately, but just comes back to my comment earlier that I managed to clear out a model engaging it. In fact, I might not have even achieved that. I think I'm struggling to recall what happened in the actual game, but I think what happened is that the Widowmaker took a free strike and the Mechanothral missed because his mat was so low. So that may well be of what happened. Moving right along, Terminus heads over here with Malediction and destroys 2 of these pikemen and collects a control point here. He's got a control point from the other side of the field in that turn. Note that he'll actually automatically go up another control point. I think this puts Crix on 4 as well as me being on 4, so I think what I needed to do, no, I put Crix on 3, but he'd automatically go to 5 unless I contested the middle flag and cleared the flag on my side. So yeah, that was the situation. Crix was on 3, Khador's on 4, then it's Khador's turn. So next picture, you can see what happens. He's actually run the Bane Thrall unit leader to within 4 of the flag. You can see it in the bottom of the photo. He's also run 2 of the remaining Blood Witches over there. One of them is within 4, the other one isn't. And Terminus is sitting pretty on that flag. So I've barely got any models left. What needs to happen here is for one of my models to run to contest the flag that Terminus is on. Now that could be the War Dog, it could be the single eliminator, it could be one of the Nest Hunters. And then what I've got to do is kill those 2 models contesting my flag and put something in base to base with the flag. So after thinking about it for a while, I decided to give the eliminator the job of contesting the flag that Terminus was on. The War Dog then moves over to control the flag that I need to score the 5th point. And then I'll be relying on the Nest Hunter unit with Velichev to kill those 2 models. Potentially I could fluff that. He could just pass so many tough checks on his Bane Thrall. Butcher is actually there as well, so Butcher's in range to kill the Styxis Witch, which is pretty easy considering it's Butcher. So really I just have to focus the attention of the Nest unit on that one Bane Thrall. And I'll tell you what happened. If you look to this next photo, that's very achievable. The Eliminator has moved into range of the flag. The dog has moved on into range of the flag over here. The Nests have actually eliminated the Bane Thrall without passing any tough checks and killing the Witch as well. So that actually leaves Butcher free to kill Terminus just for fun. Terminus is camping, I believe, 5 focus. So if we head to the next and final photo of the game, Butcher gets into range here without the feed, but casts Fury and swings at him 5 times, hits 5 times, and kills Terminus. Terminus actually passed a tough check, but Butcher had 1 remaining attack to get him with and that was lights out. So that was my alternative way of winning the game if the Bane Trawler just passed a lot of tough checks and if I'd fluffed my rolls and not managed to clear the flags. So quite an interesting one. This Butcher list is not optimal. I think there are a few other things I'd like to do. I'd actually like to run Chiesi Assassins. I don't actually have them in my model collection, but you know, I'm going to be getting some more Kato models for my collection soon. And in fact, selling my Circle Army too, that's going to be going to one of my friends. So I'll have more money to spend on Kato stuff, and hopefully you guys will see that in some reports coming up soon. Catch you guys later.